Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Hamami. I'm a first-year master's student in the Psychological Sciences program in the Quantitative Concentration at James Madison University. So here is the title of my roundtable project, an equity-minded application of a diagnostic cognitive model or DCM to inform JMU's general education curriculum. Here is a little bit of background that led to this project. The assessment of student learning outcomes, or SLOs, in higher education is a crucial, important element in understanding the strengths and weaknesses of academic student affairs or general education programs. When reporting assessment results, however, results are summarized in an aggregated manner as opposed to being reported by specific groups. So, for example, different racial or ethnic groups, which might impede the design of group-specific learning strategies or the creation of programming for different racial or ethnic groups. As an example, race or ethnicity has been found to be an important factor in health and wellness. In addition, Van Dyke has found that different racial or ethnic groups perform differently across wellness components. Therefore, the purpose of the study was to examine the performance and provide feedback for different racial or ethnic groups on the wellness assessment to potentially inform curriculum changes in the wellness domain of JMU's general education program. The cognitive portion of the Knowledge of Wellness and Health Test, or KWH, which contains 20 items, was used to assess students' knowledge on the three wellness awareness SLOs covered in JMU's fifth cluster courses in the fall 2018 and spring 2021 semester in order to assess students' initial performance and growth in performance across the semesters. So, the first goal states that students will be able to understand the dimensions of wellness, the various factors affecting each dimension, and how dimensions are interrelated. The second goal states that students will be able to understand the relationship between personal behaviors and lifelong health and wellness. Finally, the third goal states that students will assess their own level of health and wellness and understand how these levels impact their quality of life. A diagnostic cognitive model, or DCM, a modern psychometric model which aims to provide SLO level and individual level feedback on students' mastery of knowledge, was used to measure students' overall performance and growth in performance based on their pre- and post-assessment responses. Moreover, DCM was also used to disaggregate feedback by racial or ethnic groups. In this study, only students who identify themselves as Caucasians, Blacks or African Americans, Asians, and Hispanics were analyzed. Students who identify themselves as Native Americans or Alaska Natives, as Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, or who identify themselves as multiracial were not examined in this study. Just to visually explain what was just mentioned, first we apply the model to examine the overall performance of the students. Second, we disaggregated performance across the different racial and ethnic groups. Although it would have been better to apply an individual model to each racial or ethnic groups, it was not possible due to the small non-Caucasian samples. The figure in the slide depicts the overall performance for the three wellness goals for the fall 2019 semester, which is shown by the white bars here, and the spring 2021 semesters, which is shown by the black bars here. As you can see, there seems to be an overall increase in performance across the three wellness goals. The graphs below show mastery performance for the three wellness goals across the different racial and or ethnic groups. So the first graph depicts mastery performance for the first goal. The second graph depicts mastery performance for the second goal, and the third graph depicts mastery performance for the third goal. So as you can see across the three SLOs, we do see an increase in mastery performance across all the racial or ethnic groups. That is, we do see a notable increase for African Americans or Blacks and Hispanics, which are in the circles right here across all the three goals. Despite the positive results, bias was present in the classifications as some items included in the person classification estimation were not discriminating very well. Therefore, we did a second person classification estimation without the non-discriminating items. So as we can see in the graph here, the overall mastery performance classification is quite similar to the one obtained using the full measure, in the sense that we see an increase in mastery performance across the semesters in all the wellness goals. For the classification of each racial or ethnic groups, we also see an overall increase in mastery performance across the wellness goals. However, we do see a different pattern of results as compared to when all the 28 items were included in the person classification estimation. That is, this pattern change was especially salient for Hispanics, which are in the circles right here. Although the reasons for this change of pattern is not clear, therefore we still need to do some analyses in order to see what is happening here. To conclude, the results suggest that JMU's general education program courses in the fifth cluster are effective across the different ethnic or racial groups analyzed. Still, further analyses are needed to have a clearer picture of wellness assessment performance across different racial or ethnic groups. Moreover, an interesting future direction of the study would be to correlate mastery performance on wellness assessment with measures of wellness attitudes and/or behaviors to determine whether an increase in wellness knowledge would lead to an improvement in wellness attitudes and/or behavior, which could provide additional value to programming in the wellness domain. Finally, although the focus of the study was to inform the wellness domain of the general education curriculum, the CMs could be applied to other educational contexts in order to make valuable inferences pertaining to student learning outcomes. Thank you very much.